Mortal Kombat is a landmark fighting game franchise that began with its first arcade release in 1992. Developed by Midway Games, Mortal Kombat stood out for its digitized graphics and unprecedented levels of bloody violence, sparking major controversy that only boosted its popularity. Through a combination of boundary-pushing content and accessible gameplay, Mortal Kombat became a pop culture phenomenon and influenced countless fighting titles after it. The origins of Mortal Kombat can be traced back to 1991, when Midway Games sought to capitalize on the fighting game craze sparked by Capcom's Street Fighter II. While Midway licensed Street Fighter II for its arcades, company executives wanted their own competitive one-on-one fighting game to distinguish themselves. Midway assembled a small team of designers in Chicago to brainstorm concepts for an original fighter. The project was headed by Ed Boon, a pinball designer turned video game programmer who would go on to create Mortal Kombat. Boon and artist John Tobias led development along with other Midway staffers. According to Boon, the team studied competitor fighting games, but found them to lack any real storyline or mythos for players to latch onto. This inspired them to craft a robust fiction for their own fighting game centered around themes of good versus evil. Extensive planning went into creating Mortal Kombat's dark fantasy setting and cast of vivid characters. Boon and Tobias devised the Tournament story mode, where combatants from different realms battle it out in one-on-one fights. They crafted detailed biographies for each of the 7 playable fighters, drawing from influences like Asian mythology and 80s action stars. Scorpion and Sub-Zero went on to become some of gaming's most iconic characters, thanks to their rivalry and contrasting abilities. Where Mortal Kombat broke new ground was its graphics. While Street Fighter used hand-drawn anime visuals, the Mortal Kombat team employed digitized actors filmed against a blue screen. This allowed them to faithfully capture every detail of their performers' costumes, motions, and faces. The realism gave Mortal Kombat a gritty look that set it apart and brought its violence to visceral life. These digitized actors were filmed performing the game's outrageous signature fatality finishing moves. After winning a match, players could input button commands to violently murder their defeated opponent, like Scorpion yanking out a spine or Sub-Zero decapitating them. Though rudimentary by today's standards, these gory fatalities pushed boundaries unlike any mainstream game. Complementing the visuals was an energetic techno soundtrack by Dan Forden. The thumping beats and Eastern instrument samples evoked the tournament's supernatural, otherworldly feel. Sound designer David Perry crafted punishing hits and screams to accentuate the impacts. Get Over Here and Fatality became beloved voice samples. After nearly 10 months of development, Mortal Kombat hit North American arcades in October 1992 courtesy of Acclaim Entertainment. Its memorable characters, electronic industrial soundtrack, and copious blood splatters made it an instant spectacle. Lines formed at arcades as players were drawn to experience the controversial violence and master each fighter's unique moves. Mortal Kombat became one of the most popular and profitable arcade games ever. At home, Mortal Kombat exploded in popularity as a console meta-hit. The watered-down Super NES version was hugely successful, but many players flocked to the uncensored Sega Genesis port. Mortal Kombat even boosted sales for the Game Gear handheld thanks to its faithful conversion. However, this unprecedented violence in a home release ignited major controversy around video game content. Calls for censorship and even government regulation followed, with Mortal Kombat directly spurring the formation of the Entertainment Software Rating Board, ESRB, that still rates games today. But this backlash only affirmed Mortal Kombat's place in pop culture. Mortal Kombat followed up its smash debut with Mortal Kombat Beyond in arcades in 1993. New characters like Kitana and Shao Kahn joined the roster with upgraded graphics, moves, and the new Babality finisher. The series dominated arcades while releasing improved ports that added more content. Dozens of MK games have since spawned across consoles, handhelds, and even films. However, that shocking 1992 original remains the most trend-setting and culturally influential. The runaway success of Mortal Kombat established Midway as a major force in the fighting genre. It validated their creative risks like digitized actors and graphic content that paid off hugely. Mortal Kombat became synonymous with over-the-top violence and speculation around the next shocking entry. Yet beneath the gore was an enjoyable fighting system with depth for dedicated players. For better or worse, Mortal Kombat opened gaming's eyes to what was possible. Mortal Kombat now enjoys renown as not just an arcade classic, but a true pop culture milestone. It emerged at a specific moment when gaming and youth culture collided in the 90s. Its digitized tech cunningly circumvented censorship to deliver shocking content right into homes. This combination of boundary-pushing aesthetics with strong core design makes Mortal Kombat such a definitive title. In 1992, Finish Him introduced a generation to gaming's wild side and ignited a legacy still going strong.